Good evening, everybody. My name is Aaronott. I'm the curator of public art at the Albright Knox, and I am a co-curator of this exhibition, In These Truths. I'm a co-curator with two of my favorite people in the world who are here with me this evening, Aitina Fareed-Cooke and Edreys Wajed. And we're gonna have a conversation, and none of us know where it's gonna go, so I'm glad that you're gonna ride this ride with us. I was joking earlier about how it feels very strange to introduce Drea, a multi-hyphenate talent in Buffalo. I'm in awe of her and surprised by anybody who doesn't already know her. Many of you know her as an incredibly talented musician, but we're here tonight to talk about her work with Feed Buffalo, which is an incredible organization. And food inequity has been thrown into very stark relief in the recent days. But what I think is really important to note is that this is a chronic problem in our region, and it's an especially chronic problem the way that systemic racism has split this city. And Drea identified this chronic problem and the need long ago. And though I think a lot of people that are here with us this evening and a lot of people around the region and indeed around the nation recognize the acute need for food in our neighborhoods, Drea has been a pioneer and a leader making sure that people have healthy food, organic food, halal food for the people that live in Buffalo. And I guess, my first question, Drea, is just, what led you to try and, I know that you come from a family of people who are committed to their community and to their faith and to their family, and that you carry that tradition, but, what has led you to create Feed Buffalo to try and combat this chronic problem?
Feed Buffalo was birthed from my own need for food, my own need to feed my children. Where my son is right there with the lock. That's all good. He's here with the Wakanda Alliance program. Thank you, Anthony, for bringing them. But my family is Muslim, so we don't eat pork. I tried my best to give my children healthy food, to prioritize health over anything. I'm just trying to get them to stop buying, what's those, Takis? I'm trying. But they end up at the store when I'm gone or when I'm in my room or something, and I come out the room and it's blue dye all over their hands. I don't know, but the point is I needed food for my family. Yes, I've always worked, maybe not the way people want me to work, but I'm a full-time artist, and so I'm always creating and working. I'm a mother, so that's always work. So I work and I'm blessed. However, I'm blessed, but many days it felt like it was not enough, and so I would go to the food pantry, and I'm like, yeah, I'm watching people leave with like 5 and 6 bags or sometimes a box, because they're okay with having beef in a can, beef and juice in a can, and they're okay with having like cow's milk, and they're okay with having cookies and all kinds of stuff that I don't really buy for my children. And I'm like, wow, I would leave with like 1 or 2 bags, because I couldn't eat what everybody else ate. And at that particular time, my family was trying to like stick with halal meat too, and not one pantry offered that. I also didn't like the way I felt when I went into the pantry. It didn't feel like a place of dignity. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm Drea, but you go places and people know you, so you go into the pantry and the same people that are serving you are people that come to your shows and looking at you like, girl, you can't afford no food for your kids. And that's not a good feeling, you know what I'm saying? You already got to gather yourself to go. And then when you go, you can't even like get what you feel like you really need. And so I would end up taking a box and literally giving half the box away to people because I'm not gonna eat half the stuff in here. So I don't like the way I felt. I would go to my grandmother's house And my grandmother has a pantry just outside of her kitchen. And so like when you're on the way to the kitchen, you kind of pass the pantry. And I would go to her house around dinner time because I knew that she would feed me and I knew she wouldn't ask any questions about it. And I could ask her for anything in the pantry, and she would just say, yeah, take it back and just take it. She never brought it up. She never made me feel bad. And that's my grandmother's house. Like, you're not going to go anywhere else to get more love than you're going to give at your, than you will receive at your grandmother's house. So I said one day, I want to create a place that feels like the way I feel when I go to my grandmother's house, but I want to be able to offer the very, very best to people in need, to families in need. And because that's what people deserve. When people come, and then also like there's people who have dietary restrictions, not just due to religious reasons, but medical reasons. So there's people who can only eat gluten-free food. They can't have food with high salt content and sugar and things like that. And so why is it that when you go to the pantry, very limited options for that? So I said, I'm gonna create a pantry that prioritizes people's dietary restriction, prioritizes their choice to live a healthy lifestyle. You know how many people who are vegan but can't afford food because vegan food costs, we all know it costs way more than McDonald's. You can buy a whole meal for a family of 6 at McDonald's for $30, right? But you're not even eating real food. But you try to eat healthy and it's too expensive for a lot of people. So they come to our pantry. And so I'm gonna make a place where you can come and get fresh fruits and vegetables from farmers. You can get organic food, and it's beautiful in there. It smells good when you come in there. And I'm smiling and we talk, A lot of organizers come in and feed Buffalo. They cry, they sit and cry and talk to me. Sometimes people just come and sit and cry and say nothing. And I just play beautiful music for them. I have a piano in there. So it doesn't feel like you come into a pantry. You understand? It's really a healing space, actually. It's really a healing space. So that's why I created it. I think I answered why and what.
That's good. You got something to say?
I do. So I know a bit about you, right? But I'm sure there's always room to learn. I consider Drea my sister, even though we are not blood related, but this is my sister. And I'm also on the board of Feed Buffalo as well. And we are longtime collaborative creators as well. But one of the things that is to us two-part. One part is more of a comment, and the second is I want you to, I'll tell you what to do. I'll ask you what I like for you to do. I'm not telling you anything. All right, so the one thing is like, so being in her space, right, like, and it is a healing space. And everything that Drea has done, if you're not familiar with her work, is all about healing. She's had programs and put on her own shows and things like that in these beautiful spaces with the intent of people coming to heal, right? And not necessarily posing as a healer, but showing you like through music and through sound and through intention that we all are all in need of some sort of healing. And so on her bags that she gives out at Feed Buffalo, I thought it was so clever. It says healthy community, right? Now, in your mind, I want you to look at the word healthy, just the word healthy, and see it in two words, heal thy, right? So the bag is broken up. It has the word on it, heal thy community, which reads as healthy community. So it's just like these layers of what her intentions are, right? So that's how deep of a thinker she is when she puts her intentions out there and she actually executes on her ideas. Now, to my question. My question is more, I guess, a prompt. Take us back to when you started started Feed Buffalo, and which was right in the heart of the pandemic, when we were not sure what was what, up, down, left, right, and now to where we are considering Saturday's events. Like, if you can, take us back to that.
And first I want to say that Edreys designed our logo. And I love it. Yes, he did. He hand painted it on our wall in the pantry. I appreciate it. It was so hot that day, I'm sorry. So, COVID. So, you know, when you have a business and you're I hate that term, small business owner, but when you are, it's really important that you have like a grand opening. Because a lot of people don't even know that you're there. You know, a grand opening helps to get the word out and it helps to establish yourself in that community even, right? I never had a grand opening. I had one planned, but then COVID hit. So the Spirit told me to do a concert in February, early February, and I got that guidance in December, and I didn't even have time to really plan and market that. And I didn't even understand why it was like, you must do this, and you must do it this way, and you must do it right now. So fine, I did it, and I don't even know how we put that together. I swear to you, that was the last time I sang publicly for like almost 2 years. And that concert has carried me like really up until like now. And praise God, it's carried many people. I didn't even know, but right after that COVID hit, and I'm like, okay, forget it. Forget the grand opening. I have to open my doors right now, because now we're talking about an attack on the immune system. We're talking about people's ability to be able to heal is totally dependent on what they put into their bodies. And people are isolating themselves in the house, so they're afraid to go to grocery stores. Grocery stores, let me tell you, like, I was feeding, I can't even tell you how many people we were feeding per day. I can't even tell you, because it went from like 5 or 6 people to like 50 to 100 a day, literally overnight. Okay, and I'm like, I'm scared too, so I got the doors closed. I'm like putting the bag outside the door and closing the door and locking it, and then telling the person, okay, you can come get the bag now. You know, we were doing all of that. But let me tell you, like, I knew that I had to get people ginger, and I had to get them citruses. I had to get them alkaline water, and I had to get them, you know, like, stop eating the cheese, because the cheese is gonna slow you up, it's gonna clog you up. So we don't serve cheese at Feed Buffalo at all. I know people love cheese. I used to love macaroni and cheese, and every now and then, I'm not gonna lie, I will have some, but I'm not gonna lie. But I don't serve that thing because cheese causes mucus, and mucus is the root of many, most if not all diseases. So I don't give it. So I made sure that I was really intentional about what I gave people. Partnered with, I believe it's called Sweet Flags Herbs. They came and brought a whole bunch of herbs to us. They made a beautiful tincture. We were just giving it away for free, giving away herbs for free. And so we opened our doors like with no plan. People kept asking me, what is your business plan for Feed Buffalo? I'm like, my business plan is to heal my people. Like, that's it. I need to heal my people. Well, how are you going to sustain yourself if you give away everything for free? I'm like, listen, people got money around here. People have money. People spend money on what they want to spend money on. People invest in what they want to invest in. I'm not here to try to sell Feed Buffalo to you. I'm here to remind people that before we had grocery stores, before we had corporations, before we had business plans, before we had a physical dollar in our hand, all we had was the earth, air, water, fire, and each other, and the spirit. That's all we had. And really, we were okay. We were okay until people started inventing and creating diseases. People started inventing things in the effort to try to be God. And maybe it's not what you want to hear, but that's just how I feel. And I believe that in order for us to survive, we got to go back to that. And that is why Feed Buffalo exists. It's the concept of giving things away, sharing resources, and doing it for the purpose of just humanity, for the sake of humanity. It's not even deep. People are like, why would you want to give away organic food, the most expensive type of food you can purchase, for free? Why not? Why do you want to give each other food that's not even food? You're eating GMO products. You're literally eating food that was, and I hate calling it food because it's not. You're eating things that have been manufactured in a factory, and what they're doing in the factory is trying to mimic what the earth does for free. The earth gives it to you for free. Why are we charging you for water? Water is free. It's plentiful. The earth sits on a bed of water. So if you can go and just scoop it up, you know, in any ocean, who are you to charge for that? That's how I feel. And I know it's real extra and radical, but I'm walking around here with a red cloak. I am extra. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get back to who we actually are as a people. And let me tell you something about when COVID hit. Everybody was so selfish during COVID. You got one person buying like 25 packets of toilet tissue because in paper towels. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, well, what about all the people that are standing in line behind you? You're not even thinking about them. And that breaks my heart. It broke my heart to go to the grocery store. I couldn't even buy 50 bags of rice to pack in a bag to give people because they didn't have enough. And let me tell you, COVID was a preview of what is to come because this country was built on greed. And we're going back to that. We're going back to that. The dollar doesn't even exist anymore. We're paying attention to stocks and digital currency and cryptocurrency. The dollar really doesn't exist anymore. And people are still fighting and dying over positions and powers and the illusion of money. Because money is not even real. People are standing in line fighting over the opportunity to be able to buy something that's not even going to last. So if we don't go back to ancestral practices, indigenous practices, we will not survive. So what we're going to do tomorrow on Jefferson and Riley, this is not a plug at all because tomorrow is actually a memorial service at 2:30 p.m. The daughter of Ruth Whitfield asked me to promote this, and it's the only reason why I'm saying this. It's going to start at exactly 2:30. She wants to memorialize her mother right across the street from the Tops, and we're going to have food afterwards. Nothing is happening between 2:30 and 4 but that. We'll have food there. There's going to be a peace mobile there where we're going to be helping Black and brown mental health workers who are completely exhausted to be able to take part into some self-care tomorrow. We're going to be giving away healthy food to people, and I will be singing tomorrow. And I'm not a performer. I'm going to offer a sound that reflects what is happening right now. Yesterday was the first day I was even able to sing. And you can't even imagine as a singer, I probably came out of one of this room singing, I haven't even been able to sing since this happened. Because all I've been doing is crying and going to sleep because I'm exhausted from standing on my feet. I almost threw my back out the other day. You just standing on my feet serving people. We're working directly, Feed Buffalo is working directly with 3 families, directly. I'm not going through anybody but the daughter of, the son of. It is breaking my heart to hear the stories of what is happening. And the families are saying, people are just coming to my house, just dropping off food. And my mother wasn't a charity case, one woman said. She said, my mother wasn't a charity case. I don't want your money. I don't want your money. I need help booking a ticket to get her sister in town. But y'all just throwing me money because that's what awesome people know how to do, is throw money. This is not the, yes, we need resources, absolutely. We've always needed resources. But why does it take tragedy for people to show up? I've been asking for a van for Feed Buffalo for 2 and 3 years. Edreys knows, he sits on my board. I'm delivering food. My son is a witness. We delivering food, right, son? Well into the night, 10, 11 o'clock at night sometimes. By myself, going deep into the east side, by myself at night, taking bags of food to people. Sometimes the grocery store is closed. I got to order from whoever is open so they can have a hot meal that day. And because I don't post it, you don't know what I'm doing. Y'all asking me for data? I don't have time to document data for you to turn into your investors, to your funders. I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. I'm exhausted, y'all. I'm exhausted. Black and brown community workers, food workers, mental health counselors, we are exhausted. Business owners, artists, we are exhausted. We are exhausted. And I just wish, I want everybody who's here, whoever's watching, to consider, why must it take a tragedy for us to come together? Why must it take a tragedy? Every day, there is somebody on all up and down Jefferson. I don't even know who this organization I ain't never heard of, that have been around, that have been serving people. But they don't have the budget for marketing. They don't have the budget to get somebody to record them so that y'all can see what they're doing, because they're busy doing the work. They're in the trenches every day and night doing the work, taking time from their own families to serve their communities. There is so much food on Jefferson right now. It's unbelievable that it took a tragedy to strike for people to come from all over the city of Buffalo. People are flying in from all over the world to feed people. Where have you been? Where have you been? I just told Edreys 2 weeks ago, I need the clothes fee, but maybe I missed it. Because I don't have the capacity alone to do this work. And now, people have been giving us stuff from all over the world. Thank you. And I'm not an ungrateful person. That is not the point that I'm making today. But why must it take a tragedy? I saw this once with COVID. I saw it. I'm telling you, we had so much funding in 2020 from people who felt guilty and felt like they just wanted to help the Black community, and came to us with this savior mentality, and then disappeared. Disappeared.
They got the fix.
Got the fix, felt good. Okay, I did my part. That word charity, like, it has become a brand. It has become a brand when it should be a lifestyle that's based and rooted in love for humanity. It should be based and rooted in, just because you are human and I'm human and we need each other, I'm looking out for you. And you know how many people have been coming to the Feed Buffalo this week asking me to take a picture? I don't want to take a picture. Why do I have to take a picture to receive a check? Why? Why do you have to post it? Why? Why do you have to go back and report it? Why? Why is our funding limited? Because I ain't never even heard of Benevity. Benevity.com. There's some people have been trying to sow seeds into Feed Buffalo, but I have never heard of Benevity. So it's something that they do, like matching or something through your job. And if you're not registered with these organizations, then your funding is going to be limited. Do you know that people have been wanting to give to Black and brown organizations from all over the world, but they can't find one Black and brown organization on this website to give people to? So they've been giving it to white-led organizations who have been doing all kinds of stuff, who have already been getting millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. People creating campaigns even now and still getting millions of dollars. And I'm telling you, they are bringing poison as food into our communities. Half these diseases are rooted in what you eat and can be cured by what you eat. And Feed Buffalo exists to give people that very, very best of that. And we haven't been able to do that because we haven't had the resources. So I want to tell you today, whoever is watching, whoever is here, listen, historically, we all know that it takes about 30 to 45 days, right, for people to go hard, and then people get tired and people forget. I'm telling you that what's happening in the world is an attack on our memory, on the memory of Black and brown people, because we have ancestral memory that has carried us. We have survived so many things. Yes, we are resilient, but why the hell do we have to be resilient all the damn time? Why do we have to be strong all the time? I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of it. But after these 30 and 45 days, I'm telling y'all, we are going to continue to need people to do what you're all doing right now. After June, beyond July, beyond 2022, beyond 2023, beyond 2024, we will continue to need help. We will continue to need to work together as a people. And if we forget this, I'm telling you, We all gonna, Nina Simone said, we all gonna die and die like flies. She said, we all gonna die and die like flies. If we don't get it together, yes, we all gonna go. We all gonna transition, right? But when we transition, what will we be found doing? What will we be found doing? That's what I've been thinking about all week. Thinking about all those black queen mothers that were murdered, shot in the face. I can't even process that shit. I can't process that shit. Queen mothers. And half of them were shopping for somebody else. Doing service. Don't have an LLC, don't have a nonprofit, didn't have a business plan, was just out there doing it. They've been doing it for years. For years. So I will honor them by doing the work, whether we are supported or not. I will be found doing the work, like my queen mother showed me, like those brothers showed me. I will be found taking care of my children. I will be found giving love. I will be found creating healing sounds for people. Whether or not, I'm gonna give y'all this for free, whether you want it or not. And that's what Feed Buffalo is all about. Take the absolute best I have to give you for free. Because when all these corporations die, when all this money is gone, when all these systems, when the economy crashes again, all we gonna have is the earth, the water, the fire, the air, spirit, and each other. And if we don't learn how to work together all the time, not just during tragedy, we're all gonna die and die like flies.
Let's sit with that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to suggest. Sit with that for a minute. And if your mind drifts, it's okay. But I still want you to come back here and sit with that for a second. Almost a meditation. Taking what she said, because that was from a higher source coming through the vessel that is Drea Denora. This is what she does. This is what she does. This is who she is. And one of the things that I want you all to catch is, how will you be found? Catch that. How will you be found? What will you be found doing? There's a phrase that I use, and it's live now how you want to be remembered. How will you be found? It's the same thing. Are you living now how you want to be remembered? Are you living in service? Are you practicing humanity? If you have trouble determining what humanity is, that's a place for you to start. Ask, what is it? What is humanity? And you will find the answers. And humanity does not have a shade, does not have a color, it does not have economics tied to it. What she delivered to you is exactly what everybody in this room and everybody that's watching through live needs to be digested. That was a gift. That was a gift. And not everybody will leave with that gift. We understand that. Yes, some people in here and that are in ear's reach of what was shared, that's where the momentum begins. That's when the water recedes from the shore. That's where it is. And particularly speaking with those here in Buffalo, because we are in Buffalo and we do our work in Buffalo. Buffalo is the epicenter right now for those in this room. An area and a time and a specific place to practice what was just shared. Within a space that is currently featuring 23 Black artists called In These Truths. You see the alignment? You just heard the truth. From a mother of 5, an entrepreneur, a humanitarian, an artist. It doesn't get more artful than that. So I'm glad that everybody took a chance, or took a moment rather, to sit with that. I think that was very rich and it's very ethereal, meaning that it would just vanish unless it was caught. So it had to be caught, which was why I stopped there, why we all stopped there, rather. So where do we go next?
She said it all. One more thing that needs to be said. I think everybody needs to ask themselves questions. You know, throughout all of this, it was interesting walking to the vigil, and I had to go through a lot of feelings and emotions because a lot of the people that I saw I don't typically see on Jefferson. And I had to, I had to restrain my emotions and understand why I'm stepping into that space. That's where I serve within my capacities, within my church, or within whatever is needed over there. I'm walking there and I see people who I know never walk into that space. I hear all the time all of the things about the East Side. Oh, they're afraid to go on the East Side. People go all the way around the East Side in order to get to certain places. And I'm going to be honest, that's bothersome to me. And then to think that those same people are not going to be there. You're not going to be there next month, month after. What are you doing it for? Those are my people. Don't just do it for a photo. Don't just do it for a video. They had camera, I didn't mean for it to go this way, but the cameras in people's faces. This one young lady, she's about 17, 18, she's crying her eyes out. Her great-grandmother just passed in there, and they have the cameras in her face. And she said, please get the cameras out my face. But media just itches. They just have this urge to continue to show. Like, you got your content already. Move forward. It's not a show, One of the things that I've seen, and I've said this to Drea plenty of times, like, I love how she moves. She moves with her heart. I love it because she doesn't need specific things. She just moves because it needs to be done. She's not just feeding Buffalo food. She's feeding love. You go into her space, it's peace. That's healing. Anytime you're around her, that's what I feed off of, that energy. For real. That's what she's giving out. And then The question is, what are you gonna, how do you feed buffalo? Or are you thinking about feeding yourselves? You know, because we're going to be here. We don't have a choice. There's no choice in the matter. We don't need cameras. We don't need videotapes. We don't need none of that. We're going to be there. Regardless. Then you have these questions. Why is it just one grocery store in that area? And why was who's talking about this though? Why was our grocery store in that area so dingy? Y'all know? Why?
And why does that grocery store only have one entrance?
One entrance.
Go ahead, any of the tops. You can get in this way, and you can get in this way. But the one tops in the hood. Sorry, y'all. I got 5 kids, so my phone be
Yeah.
You go at any other tops, right?
Multiple.
Our times, it was only one way to get in.
And the little girl was trying to leave out the back, couldn't even get out the back. There was an 8-year-old girl that had to hide in the freezer. Those are my people. He infiltrated all my people. Last month, I was in the trenches. I didn't see any of the people that were on Jefferson there. We got to ask ourselves, what are we doing to separate it? We need to unify. But unify with the idea and the thought that we are all human beings. Keep that in mind. We are all human beings. Stop looking at us like we something different than that. That young man looked at us like we were something different than human. He had, man, I don't even want to go there.
Oh, you probably need to go there. You need to go there.
I'm just tired. I'm tired. Even me, Aitina, I still deal with foolishness like this. All of the things you do, how hard you work, where you come from, how much you care, what you have to do, what you have to put up with, and I still walk into spaces and I still get looked at as if I'm not human. I'm an educated black woman from the east side. I'm educated. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I hurt. I love. I care. I work hard. I've worked hard. I lived on Riley Street. Me and my son, when it was just me and him. I shopped at that grocery store. We would walk there. We would go up and down the aisles. Isaac, this, spell this. Look at the numbers. I created a safe space for my son. And yeah, we still saw crime and different things. That's my space. Like, we are human beings. Just stop. Stop looking at us as if it's anything different. Because we're tired.
And here's the thing as well, as I like to, the onus is on, here, I'll put it this way. As Aitina has expressed, as Drea has expressed, I think it goes without saying that I stand where I stand through the things and how I move. And we bear the brunt of a fight that is not ours. These things that we have to endure are not, they are not retaliations for anything, for we aren't doing anything, but trying to be
just existing.
We're just being, right? What made this possible also is how toxic racism is, if you want to call it that, is that he felt comfortable enough to be in this space, they say now more than a dozen times.
Oh.
This was not just one pass-through, people. He's been there several times. So which means in this dangerous east side, this little white boy could walk in there and not feel any harm. If it was that terrifying, would somebody revisit a dozen times? So this is what is afforded through what happens to our areas when they get gentrified and such. We can't afford to prejudge anybody because we won't be taken seriously. But if I go out to Williamsville, Amherst, the affordability of somebody to be prejudiced against me and their fears is very likely and high to be listened to. That's the difference. We aren't looking for trouble. If there's issues happening in the black community by black people, that's the nature of any place you live. Hispanic, Vietnamese, white, it doesn't matter. What happens in activities in the areas where people live is what happens. But we have to be hypersensitive and aware to so much. Continuously concerned about how we are being viewed, what people are perceiving about us. Everybody up here, between the three of us, are all, I would say, accomplished and have endured quite a bit to where we are, and our work's not done. And I wonder how we're still here. Because we don't have to do the things we're doing. We're not obligated, but we take the opportunity that's given to us with the talents that we have. Some people can opt out of it. Some people can opt out of the struggle too. That's not something that we all do though. So again, what I'm saying now is that this work, the same way that Drea is mentioning, we need help. The same way she's saying we need help when she's in the job and the work that she's doing with feeding people. She can't feed everybody, but she's doing what she can with what she has. So the help is now, the onus is on everybody else. We've been doing this for a long time now. Our parents, this isn't something that a parent hands down to their children. The things that we do for our children is to hopefully, in the hopes that the next 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 18-year-old white kid doesn't look at our family and our children like animals. That's our hope. But we don't hold our breath there because we know the reality. And Saturday was a reality. It was a reality. My son turned 18 today. I'm not with him right now because I felt it very important that I be here to support my sister in this space. I'll celebrate with him later. But here's my worry. That's my wish. That's my wish that I get to celebrate with my son later. Some people don't understand what that means. And that's okay, but I'm here to tell you to wonder now about check-ins. Honey, did you make it to the grocery store? Are you on your way home from the grocery store? These sorts of check-ins are unique to us. So I just want you to be aware of that. And what can you do? You have to have the difficult conversations that many of you probably have been avoiding. Oh, I don't feel like having that conversation. Well, guess what? We don't feel like being in positions to where we have to be afraid for our lives. Weigh those two. Weigh that. The conversation that you don't wish to have versus that's something that we don't have any control over. No laws have been passed. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there aren't laws to say X, Y, Z, this, and that, right? I want to bring it back to Drea because we could go on for a long time, and I want to be respectful of time. Drea, what do you, I want to use the word need. What would you like from the Buffalo community and greater Buffalo community in general in order for you to elevate the work for the people that you serve?
Two things. And this is like a number one with a comma, okay? Number one, if there's anybody in here who I really don't know why people came today. I don't know. I don't know if you came, I don't know why people, I don't know what it is that made you come. But you're here, right? But not everybody, I would argue that not everybody here has the mindset of like, yeah, I agree with you, right? I'm sure there's some people who disagree with some things that we're saying, right? But I just wanna say that I'm not scared of nobody. I want that to be known. Because what happened was like, oh, you want me to be in a corner, scared to go to the grocery store. You want me to be scared to allow my children to play outside. You want me to be scared every time my mother says she gotta go somewhere. And I'm telling you, I'm not scared of nobody. I want it to be known. I want it to be known. I don't fear nothing because I don't belong to anybody but my Lord. And when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. I'm going to return home. And if you take me out, if you take out any of my people, I promise my spirit is too strong to be contained in one place. I'm going to come back and it's going to rain for 40 days, 40 nights. If something happens to me and mine. I'm being very clear when I say that. And I'm not. I'm dead ass. That's what you say. I don't want dead ass. I'm serious. I want that to be known. Because whoever whatever you want to call that person, whoever they were working with, operating with, because you don't just wake up and do that. You don't just wake up and say you come to Buffalo. You don't just wake up. I don't believe half the stuff that people are pregnant. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And I have friends who have had to go pick up their children from school because there's threats going to schools. So we killing black people today. Don't come to Topstone Union. I had a text message. Don't come to Topstone Sheridan. Did you get the text? Don't come to Wegmans because we're shooting black people today. That's what I had to deal with when I was on a plane coming home on Monday. Calling my mother, making sure she not out, making sure her and my children are at home. Because I don't know if somebody is going to be shooting up black people today. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's where we at right now. That's what we got to deal with right now. But I'm telling you, I ain't scared. I ain't scared. I'm going to keep feeding people, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And when it's my time to go, I'm going to be found doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Our spirit is strong. The spirit of all of those people that were taken is alive. I really don't believe in death. I believe in transition. I believe in returning home. And I believe that those spirits returned home. I believe that they are alive and well. And in their spirit, in their honor, we will continue to be. We're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. It needs to be known. So you either gonna deal with me and us and all of our blackness, because it ain't going nowhere. It needs to be said. It needs to be said. It's not, our blackness is more than just an exhibit for 2 and 3 and 4 months. And thank you for extending it, because I know it was originally it was, you know what I mean, gonna be a couple of weeks, and I was like, dang, man, we can't get through for a month. So thank you for extending it, Aaron. You know what I'm saying? But our blackness is more than that. Our blackness has actually shaped this country, whether we wanted it to or not. And it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. We just too resilient. We're just too resilient. It's here to stay. Just 1 second. And what else I want to say is that if you will give, please don't give because you feel sorry for me. Please. I opened my doors with $800 in my pocket. I told you I didn't have a business plan. I didn't have a grant. I didn't have a staff. I didn't have no volunteers. I just opened my doors because that's what the Spirit told me to do. And I'm gonna be good. We gonna be good, with or without the help, with or without the investment. We're gonna be just fine because this is God's work. This is God's work. What do we want? The Buffalo always wanted to exist on the east side. Those who know me in my inner circle had talks with somebody. I don't want to expose anybody, but the building wasn't up to par. So we got another offer, and that is why we're located on Massachusetts Avenue. We always wanted to be there, and we will be there. Someone offered us some land, and I haven't had an idea since 2016 for a build, for a space that's gonna hold the organic food, that's gonna hold it, and for these farmers to come and drop it off, and then we can just get it to the people. That can hold the halal meat, that can hold it, and that can host healing spaces. That is what's next, because sustainability is crucial right now. We cannot just be thinking about like right now, just being on Jefferson for the next couple of weeks until people forget, until the next tragedy happens, and everybody's gonna want to go to that city and go help those people. You understand what I'm saying? And yes, everybody needs help, but we gotta be thinking long term. And for me, making sure that my people are good, my children are good, is primary, long term. Not just for today, not just for this week, not just for this month, but long term. We're not moving in fear. I believe the opposite of love is not hate. I believe the opposite of love is fear. I believe the opposite of love is fear. We keep rehearsing what the motives might have been. We keep rehearsing that, but it's fear. Because they've attacked us before. They've wiped out whole cities before. And we still here. We're not going nowhere. I don't move in fear, I move in love. And I extend, everything I say is an invitation. Everything I sing, everything I birth, from my children to a business, or every vision that I birth is an invitation for you to join me in love.
Well, it's 7.
Didn't you say you wanted a truck too?
I know. Yes.
Didn't you say you wanted a truck too?
I did, and actually somebody is working on that right now. We gonna need 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 trucks because we got a lot of people to feed healthy food and get healthy food too.
Yeah.
So the invitation is there.
And a truck, bring it on over.
So Aaron, I know it's 7 o'clock. So to respect time, are we taking? That's it?
Well, yeah.
I'm putting the mic down. I'm done.
Yeah, question.
So I'm looking around, and the majority of us in the audience are white. And you said the help usually shows up for 30 to 45 days, and then it's. So what do you want from the white community after 45 days? What do you want to sustain this? What do you want to keep to make the change after 45 days? Not today, not tomorrow, not 30 days from now, but in August and till infinity. Yeah.
That's a great question.
I was going to say something. Do it. Just more. I know this more so for you as far as, I mean, all of us. I really don't, I'll just be real, I really don't like the idea of, this idea of us as white people, what can we do? I think, for me, anybody, anywhere, should be acting out of, like what she said, what I'll say, is just pure love for the purpose of sustainability, helping people get to whatever step they see for themselves. That means just asking the question, what do you need? How can it be sustained? And then think about, reflect back on yourself. If this happened to your community, what would you need? What would you need if someone came into your space and did something like this? What would you want? For me, I would want truth. I want people coming because they genuinely want to and they care. I know it's difficult at times because I know a lot of people care. And then you are placed in positions where you're like, they're making me seem like I don't care. I really care. I really care. I really want to help. I really do. With all that I have, I really want to help. And I understand that, but take a moment to understand, one, you're dealing with human beings. You're dealing with people who have already struggled. Struggle is not new to us. Loss is not new to us. And a lot of times, what's being poured into this space is not what we really need. Okay? So one of the things that I was thinking about, all this money, all of this money being poured into this space, one thing I think about is, who's helping these individuals move through that? Is anyone talking about how they may have to be they may be taxed? Are we putting people in circumstances when you get a lump sum of money, you know what to do with that? Are people educating people in that mind? You know? What about the young people? Yeah, I know we have mental health situations and stuff, but are we making sure that it's not just like these conversations? They need other things too. They need to laugh. They need to enjoy. They need to have safe spaces where they can express. I think about my trauma, being able to have the arts. We need more than just like sitting down conversations. Those kids need to run around and play and feel safe doing it. Do you have spaces for that? It's not just food, and it's not just money. We need a Black-owned grocery store.
But what about Black people and white people coming together in that community?
I have I can
What
reply.
about integrating?
No, I can reply to that a little bit. For me, I think that it's, first of all, let's acknowledge that the challenge with your question is that most recently, won't say most recently, but for the past, I think 20, 30 years, Buffalo has been ranked as one of the most segregated cities in America. Let's start there, right? Because it didn't start with you, it didn't start with us. Like, the segregation part of this conversation started before all of us. And where we landed was results of however we grew up. That's number one, right? So the question more so is about, what do we do now? Acknowledging that this city is heavily segregated. Acknowledging that, in my opinion, we have leadership that doesn't give a damn about the segregation. It doesn't give a damn about equity. It doesn't give a damn about equality. That is where my fingers are pointing, right? That's where my fingers are pointing. I'll round this out by saying that I think it just comes down, not only, but it will come down to selflessness. Selflessness. With change, it requires us to have selflessness. This is selflessness. 5 kids with time to serve families she has no relationship with. The relationship is what? Humanity. That's it. You need, I'm open, here you are. That's where we begin. Selflessness. So in order for our city to advance, all of us must be able to release what we know and be able to empathize with what we have learned.
I want to say something. Can I ask you a question? Do you support the Albright Knox Gallery?
Yes.
Are you a supporter?
On and off I have.
Okay. I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I like you.
But I can ask everyone that question. Do you support the Albright Knox Gallery? How? What does Albright Knox Gallery need in order to be sustainable?
Money.
Presents.
No, throw the answers out to me. How come the Albright Knox Gallery has been able to be alive and around and survive so long? Tell me.
Art.
Money.
Yes, art. Money, right?
Volunteers, staff.
Politics, structure, development,
Architects.
Education.
vision,
Visitors.
sustainability. But the answer I'm looking for is there is membership and there are people who give on a regular basis that nobody really had to say, can you please help us to stay afloat? You know what I mean? We got one of the most important, biggest, most relevant art institutions really, truly in the country. I just came back from Nashville. I go to New York City. I've been in Nina Simone's hometown. I've gone to places, DC, where we have big museums. And people, where are you from? Buffalo? Oh yeah, Albright Knox Gallery. People know what the Albright Knox Gallery is. They know what the Albright Knox Gallery is. But that's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of people supporting the Albright Knox Gallery right here in Buffalo. When I go to Virtual Penny, I look on the walls, and all I see is names of people. These are people who commit to giving $10,000 every year, no matter what. It's like 100 of those, maybe 1,000 of those, and it's like 20,000 people that commit to giving $5,000 a year, and it's like 30,000 people that commit to giving $1,000 a year, and it's like 1 million people that commit to giving $50 a year, and y'all do this every year. How come you had to ask me that question, but you don't have to ask anybody else that question, a white institution that question? You understand what I'm saying? Why do you have to ask me that? Is what I'm getting at. And you may be looking for something more practical, like, okay, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you to do that. But I'm just saying, on a very basic level, there is no sustainability. I'm telling you, I'm giving away everything for free. So y'all got to help me. You gotta help. I'm serious. You gotta help me. People are asking me to fill out 55,000 page, am I lying? Grant applications. You want data from me, you want all this stuff from me, but there's people, let's just be honest. A lot of people are staying afloat because of relationships. All you gotta do is get on the phone and call somebody. I have witnessed that. I'm working on a very important project right now with a friend of mine in Chicago. I'm telling you, he's called the president of 5 major art institutions. We were on the phone with the president of the organization, because they have a relationship. And they got on the phone, and he said, yeah, I need X amount of dollars. Okay, yeah, I got 250K. No business plan, no proposal, no applications. This is just pure relationships. Utilize your relationships to support Black and brown-led organizations. Get on the phone. We got a donation from Tory Burch for $25,000 today. I didn't fill out one application. I have not posted one time, please give Feed Buffalo money, because our people was just murdered in a massacre in my neighborhood that's 6 blocks away from me. Please, here's how to donate to us. I have not posted that at all. I don't know how Tory Burch heard about us, but they have not posted, they have not emailed me, they have not asked me what I needed, they haven't done it, just sent the money. And I'm telling you, everybody in this seat has the power. Everybody in this seat knows somebody. If you're not a millionaire, if you're not a billionaire, if you're not functioning from some generational wealth, you know somebody who is. I guarantee you, you know somebody who is. Who is. You don't have to call 15 people or get on Google and do a whole lot of research and a whole lot of digging to find somebody. Utilize your, because this is what we do with each other. We utilize our research. Did you say you need something? Boom. I'm calling you. And I get in a situation, I'm trying to put Edreys in the situation. He put me in the situation. Aitina is putting Anthony in the situation. This is what we do for each other, but we have to do this for each other. And we sharing pennies. Because we still have to paint it out for people how to support just another business that happens to be black-led and black-owned. That is mind-boggling to me. It is mind-boggling to me. I don't think anybody in this audience will ask Feedboard, what is it that you need? And they just got one of the largest grants earlier this year. And now they're doing another campaign. And nobody is saying, what is it that you need? It's just like, okay, I know y'all get food, so boom, write this check. That's it. We need money. I know people who can help us be developed. I know people who can, I know how to take a vision and make it into something. I know how to do that with no money at all. Watch what I'm about to do with all the donations that we're getting. If I'm able to feed all these people with nothing, and now we got a little bit of something, I promise you, I can show you better than I can tell you. And if you will become a member of these black-led, and not just Feed Buffalo, do you know Alex Wright been trying to open up a black-owned grocery store for like, what, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years? He's begging, not begging, but he has been inviting people to invest into that for years. Why doesn't this man have whatever the $1 million is that he needs? Why? And developers can get 15, 16, 17, $18 million to build something with only like 10, 15, 18, maybe 25 apartments in it. So you helping 25 people. You're helping 25 people, you got $15 million for that. But when somebody tells you, look up Alex Wright. Everybody in here, go look up Alex Wright. Look up African Heritage Food Co-op. He has a building in the Fruit Belt. He's on the streets. He's in the Broadway market. He's on every corner. He's at Martin Luther King Park. He's been giving out fresh fruits and vegetables to the community, and it's saying that he wanted to have a co-op. If you know what Lexington Co-op is, he wants to open up African Heritage Food Co-op. Why hasn't he been able to do that yet? Now, if anybody in this audience said they wanted to open up a co-op, you wouldn't have to paint your business plan to anybody. You would just write the check or call somebody and have them write the check. Why is it that Alex has not been able to do that yet? Because people feel really proud about writing a $1,000 check for one person, but will turn around and write a $100,000 check for somebody else that's doing very little for people. It's not fair. That's inhuman to me. Then I gotta basically humiliate myself to say, please help me feed people for free. I gotta humiliate myself. Feed Buffalo needs a van. Feed Buffalo needs staff. Feed Buffalo needs to be able to pay that staff. Feed Buffalo needs to be able to put gas and insurance in that van. Feed Buffalo needs to be able to build a building, all the resources that it costs to build the building, and then sustain the building. We need that. Not just for that one time, but to be able to do that for 5, 10, 20, 30, 45 years. So long that I can pass it on to my children and my grandchildren. That's what we need. That's my answer. Very basic resources. That's what we need. I have a host of volunteers. I have so many volunteers in my email, I don't even know. It's just like, I don't even know how to even, you know what I mean? I gotta hire a volunteer coordinator just to go through my emails and answer all of the people's, you know what I mean, offering to help us. It took me 3 years to even be able to say, oh, this is what I need. This is what I need. Sometimes we don't know how to answer that question. Because sometimes we don't have time to even evaluate what it is that we need. Because we see the need, and the time that it takes to evaluate how to get that need filled takes away from us doing the work sometimes. So to be able to have somebody to come in and volunteer and help, you know what I mean, help us to structure our visions and to manifest our visions and to position them to be sustainable, that takes work too. And a lot of times people will do that for you for like, you know, a month, 2 months, 3 months. I had somebody helping us with grants for like 30 days. And then she was like, girl, I gotta get paid. Because this got denied, this got denied, this got denied, this got denied. And this is time for me to write these grants up. You understand? So that's how come I keep saying it. It boils down to resources and relationships. Whatever you consider a resource. If you have a farm, if you know somebody who has a farm, giving food away is a resource. If you have bags in your house, under your sink, that's a resource. Just give whatever you can and try to give on a consistent basis. That's what Black and brown-led organizations need, not just Feed Buffalo.
I think it's like, what are your talents, gifts, skills, resources, and then getting where you fit in. That's really what it is.
Hi. Yeah. So you guys have been talking a lot about humanity and dignity and being able to support you in a way that's very humane. And I'm a student, so I recently learned this phrase called the social basis for self-respect. It's basically whether or not you're in a social environment that will actually let you respect yourself. So for example, if you're an unhoused person and everybody looks at you like you are worse than dirt, it's going to be very hard for you to respect yourself. And a lot of what you guys have been discussing seems to also be in line with that idea of we have to carry partnerships with you, as a real human being, because we are there to be with you in our humanity, to be present with you, and not just treat you like a one-time charity case. So I have a few questions that are based around that. Just wanted to preface that. You mentioned earlier that going to a food pantry can feel, I'm sorry, not as eloquent as you were, but as being against your dignity. And I wanted to ask, what makes a space a place of dignity in light of that social basis for self-respect? In terms of like, I'm sorry, I'm not being very eloquent, but I have a lot of friends who do live on the east side, and they are Black, and I was raised much closer to whiteness, so I'm a little bit desensitized to that. But whenever they come to spaces that have a lot of whiteness, they always tell me that, and I try not to like bother them about it because being Black doesn't mean you have to be the foremost spokesperson of the Black community. I think it's unfair to put that on them. But as someone who has been creating healing spaces, I want to ask you, what does that really look like?
Dignity look like? Well, I can only answer for me.
Yeah.
So when I think about a place of dignity, for me it feels like home. Like I said, my grandmother's house to me was a place of dignity. It's a judgment-free space. That's number one. Like not judging people for any reason. Not causing people to have to fill out all these lengthy applications to fulfill data requirements. And then literally like a beautiful space, like beautiful walls, the lighting is nice, light, plants having life, the smells. Like think about, anything in your life that feels beautiful, like in terms of a space, like in your home, and you may have everybody has at least one room in their house, I hope, that you love, you know what I mean, that you've really worked on. Think about what's in that space and what it does for you when you think about the space and all the work and the attention that goes into creating that space. That's what I mean when I say beautiful spaces. Right now, a lot of times people are just like, oh, we need a pantry, so I'm gonna put it in a church basement. Or I'm gonna put it in the one room that we're not using in this gorgeous building. I'll put it in that one room, but I'm not gonna put any work into that room to make it feel like anything other than this place that people are coming who are in need. So that's what I mean. Like, did I answer your question?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. But I have a follow-up. Also on the line of like humanity and dignity. You mentioned. Sorry. Yes, you mentioned. Sorry.
Yes. Go ahead.
You mentioned like the way that media interacts with survivors of these incidents is very disrespectful. So obviously, like you have to respect their consent when they say, "Please get that in my face." You like absolutely like that's the bottom line. They should have their consent respected. What else? media exposure is respectful or not, because you need media exposure in order to get aid, but it has to be done in a way that's full of dignity and humanity. So like, what does that look like to you?
I'll speak on the media. I think it's all about, if it was up to me, I think it would be about relationships. News media need to create relationships first. They need to go into spaces and start creating relationships. Because what happens is you come in, for example, what just happened, and I saw it, walking up towards the vigil, I saw a long row of media displaced. You don't know anything about this side. You don't know anything about the people that are here, and you're stuffing cameras into their faces, fresh off of traumatic experiences. That makes no sense. And then you're asking them, can you give me an interview? The one young lady who was crying and said, get the cameras out my face, and I'm being polite. The cameras out my face. I had to literally stand in between her and someone else because she was gonna fight, and rightfully so. She's crying, her face. No, get the cameras out of her face. I mean, everybody put their cameras down because she just wants to speak about what just happened to her. She doesn't need cameras in her face. I think it's a relationship. So, for example, I could probably get an interview, but I'm going to go human first. I know what kind of questions to ask. Individuals within the community already see my face. I'm in those spaces. Having a relationship is very important. And I must say, when I was out there, there's you guys know right across the street from Tops, that big old parking lot. Don't you know they blocked that parking lot off? Nobody could. So the other day when the event was happening over there in the grass area, where you could just walk through the media space to it easily, nope. They did not allow us to walk through the media space. They made, well, I didn't do it because I found another way, but they made everyone walk around the block. Around the block. They stood and said, you can't come through here. This is the media space. No, this is my hood. Excuse me, I walk freely in this space. You have the caution tape blocking off this one spot. You come from wherever you come from and you get to save space for yourself and not save space for the community. So I do what I do. Hey, no. Create space so that people could walk through to get to where they're trying to go. That makes no sense. So this idea of, like, how dare they? So the idea of strangers coming into a space and asking questions and just being, you get to be in our space and push us back. I don't like that. Mm-mm.
When I think of media, I think of telling a story, right? And when I think of storytelling, I think of who is the voice that is telling the story. It's very important that whatever story that's trying to be told is being told by the main characters in that story. And so if you have the privilege and the honor to be able to be someone who is a part of the media, then now you have an opportunity to center the people whose story you should be trying to tell. And to me, that's respect too. It's like coming to the community and try to what story are you trying to tell? People have been coming to feedback all the way. I'm not talking to the media at all because what story are you trying to tell? It's not about me, right? It's not about me, really, ever. It's always about the people. It's about the people. So if you want to know about the people, then go to where the people are, give them the mic, and don't edit what they say. Let them tell their own story.
And that takes time. I'm sorry. That takes time too. Knowing that, I tell stories. That takes relationship, and that takes time. There's many different. Gordon Parks was a prime example. When he was given tasks to go and capture individuals, he would spend time with them. Annie Leibovitz, she's another one who spends time with her subject matter. Why? Because in order to truly tell a story and to really get truth, you have to spend time. You have to be in their spaces. There's not no one quick, if you're coming in and you're trying to put camera, you don't care about what happened. You just care about getting a clip or two. That's not a story. They weren't there to tell stories. They were there to just capture clips. Stories, it takes that, I'm telling you, if you want to truly tell a story, you have to be immersed in the essence of that thing. You have to know your subject matter. You have to study them. You can't study a subject matter by just being there 5 minutes. So for media, you have to find ways to build relationships, and guess what? That takes time.
Well, I have to get to my point.
I was gonna say, you gotta get to your son.
Yes. So 2 things I'm gonna say. One is about just the relationship, about the media piece, right? Is what, and my sister works in media. She's been in media for almost 30 years, but she's behind the scenes. She's not broadcasting. Her major's broadcasting, but she's not doing the broadcasting. And so thus far, as far as I can remember, anytime there was violence, East Side was attached to it, as far as media goes. That's the only time you would hear about it. Violence, East Side. Tonight on the East Side. Just since I was a kid, I've been in Buffalo my entire life. On the East Side tonight. What about the East Side kids that won the championship for football? What about the East Side that opened up, what about the new garden? So, for the media to come do what they do, that's all they've ever done. They have not seen the humanity until that gunman was not of the community. You see how that works now, right? Until that gunman was not of the community, these are human beings. These are grandmothers. This wasn't some thug just out on the block just trying to. We've always been human beings. Even my cousins and people, we've all lost people on the East Side to violence. No one's new to violence. But the difference is we're able to see the humanity in any of those events. People are people. My last thing, because I have to go. This entire time I'm here, as I said, I'm here to support because I'm part of this great exhibit. Aaron is a dear friend. Aitina is a dear friend. This is my sister. So I'm here because I stand on my commitments. That's number one. But this entire time that I'm here, I want you to understand that my child is not in my sight right now. My child, my oldest, and 5 of his black friends are out in Williamsville having lunch that my wife and I paid for. Go enjoy yourself. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. You know how to act in these spaces, and you know how people look at you. But go have fun. And now I'm going to go home and hope that my son comes home. I want y'all to understand that, man. So when black people tell you about their experiences, believe them. That's what you can do. Believe them. Because people, we've been going through this for a long time. All through 2020, we still had to show up the day after George Floyd on a Zoom meeting, on a Zoom call. The only person in the space. We had to show up. In 2020, everybody in the world understood vulnerability for that moment. So that vulnerability that you experienced in 2020 about your loved one getting sick or your loved one passing because of this disease that was taking everybody out, that's the vulnerability we live with every single day without reprieve. Every day. So pardon me, my love goes out to everyone because that's how I move. I move in love. That's how I move. So I'm pardoning myself. I love y'all. I'm going to go home now.
Now, with dignity, with intention, with love, let us be found feeding buffalo. I know that we could ask these lovely people questions all night. Find them in the community. Find yourself there. Find yourself doing that work. Thank you for coming tonight.